Before you skip to the interview, allow me to tell you something. My next interview is about a topic that many find very sensitive: eating disorders. You're a 6-year-old kid. You realized that you love dance. Then you start practicing. Years later, you become a teenager and you see that your body have changed, obviously. You go to a school, to a summer intensive, and all of a sudden you see people skinnier than you. You start hearing rumors that because your body types, you might not even get it as a profession. You start thinking, what should I do? And then it happened. The first thing you do is to stop eating. Hey, you don't eat, you don't gain weight, right? Wrong. Today, I hope you find value in this video. Let me know what you think. Are you going through the same? Leave a comment or send me a personal email. But remember, the most important thing is that you get the right guidance, because that's one of the reasons I have seen students quitting and giving up. Don't be one of them. And we are here with the beautiful Sabrina Landa. Sabrina, thank you so much for willing to do this.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. Don't be shy. Don't worry. Let's have a great conversation. My first question is, what made you to accept to talk to me about this?
That's a very good question. I think that this topic is very personal to me, but it is something that I've seen happen to so many people in the ballet world. And I think that it is time that we should be more open about it, because especially with the new movements of being true to yourself and being open, I think that is a very important topic to talk about in the ballet world, and all of the eating problems that the ballerinas can have. And I think it's a great opportunity to talk to you and to broadcast that as much as personal as I can be.
Now, I saw on Facebook what you wrote, the whole thing. I saw one little phrase that says, eating disorders are a blanket.
Yes, yeah.
Why would you say that?
So, for lack of a better word, eating disorders are definitely a nuisance to deal with, because of in every single aspect, they can be excruciating to deal with. But the main reason that I wrote that phrase is because I posted this post with a bunch of pictures of me from last year. And I remember looking at those pictures and crying, because I was just hating my body in every way. I thought I was fat. I thought my thighs were ginormous. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror every day, taking pictures to see improvement. And it's things that you do not realize. Eating disorders completely consume you as a person. They consume your personality. They consume your thoughts. They consume how you view yourself. And now I look at, after everything that I went through, after getting injured because of the lack of nutrition, after gaining weight because my metabolism was screwed up from the past year, I look back at those pictures and can't help but see the body that I wish I had right now. I look back and I get angry with eating disorders, and I get angry with the ballet world for making me feel that way, because I think of how I look back and there was absolutely nothing wrong with how I looked. There was absolutely nothing wrong with how I was dancing either. That it's a very painful experience to have to live through.
What was the first symptom that you experienced in order to know, okay, I have this problem, now how to deal with it?
I believe personally that every ballet dancer has a form of body dysmorphia. It comes with us watching ourselves in the mirror every single day. We learn to critique our bodies in a way that is not normal, but that also comes with the art. So every day you're criticizing your body, seeing what you can improve, and oftentimes that can lead to improving your ballet line. For me, ever since I started developing as a teenager, so probably around the age of 13, I started to become very insecure of my own body. Of course, that's not where the eating disorder started. It was later on when when I was being told that my body was going to prevent a future career in dance. This is when I started to falling into this eating disorder. The first symptoms that I saw was starting to completely be anxious about every single plate that I would put on my table. I would start to overcount calories. I started to keep on decreasing, trying so many different types of diets. And every week I still was not satisfied with the weight that I was. And it kept on. I started by intermittent fasting. I was going from 11 to 2, then 11, I was going from 8 to 2. Then that time started decreasing to where I was only eating from 4 to 6. And I was only having, one meal a day. And then on the weekends when we would go out and I would notice myself continuing to binge on food, and I noticed that I had an issue, and it just got worse from there, because then the amount of guilt that I would feel after binging on the weekends would cause me to do the whole cycle all over again. I think the symptoms that start this whole process is just when you start to blame everything on your body. I've seen it happen to a lot of my colleagues. They start to blame everything that's going wrong in their career on their body. And they start to plan how they can improve their body. And then when their own career is not working, they do anything to try to decrease their size, to try to get as thin as possible. And that's when you start seeing an issue.
Let's say that one day you get up in the morning and you look at the mirror and say, I have been doing everything I can to be thinner, but I don't see it yet. So what goes to your mind?
So
when you feel that?
Yes. So that is a very good question. So that happens to me almost every day that I wake up. I see myself in the mirror and I see my body tends to fluctuate a lot. I can be barely eating 1 week and I lose 7 pounds. And then the next week of eating just 3 times a day, no carbs, just 3 times a day, I can gain up to 13 pounds in just 1 week and a half. And after a lot of, because you put so much effort into your body, you put so much effort into trying to make yourself better. So when you wake up and you don't see an improvement, it's really discouraging. And with someone with my mentality, all that I want to do is eat more. So I see how I'm not improving and it makes me give up. And then I'm like, I just want to raid my whole pantry. I don't, because that would cause me even more pain in the future. But that's just the anxiety that I get inside. But recently I haven't been seeing any improvement. So I've had to just tell myself, Sabrina, you need to make a change. There's something that's obviously not working correctly. So I decided to reach out to a nutritionist, and I found out that my resting metabolic rate is at an extreme low, lower than 1,000, when usually people just resting burn around 1,200 just on their own just by breathing. Yeah. Mine's probably around 800. So that would mean that just to lose weight, I would need to decrease my calorie intake to 700 calories. But of course, I wasn't knowing that. So no matter how low carb I have, no matter how much protein I was having, it wasn't going to help me in any single way, because it was more than the 700 calories that I need.
What took you so long? Why you didn't go to a nutrition before?
The reason that I didn't go to a nutritionist before is because I kept on hoping that the diet would be enough. Like, I had always lost weight really quickly in the past, and I once, by lowering my carbs and fat intake, I lost 20 pounds in 2 months, about 2.5 years ago. And I just kept trusting that that would work again. And when I would do that, when I started decreasing the carb intake and fat again, and I tried to do it consistently, and I lost probably 4 pounds in 2 months of doing the same exact diet I had done. And after much deliberation, after really considering all of my options, I decided that it would be the best time to reach out to a nutritionist because it's kind of my last hope in many ways, because there's nothing more that I can really do other than talk to this person and hope that she can help me understand why my body is acting this way.
Obviously, the first thing that I believe we have to do as a dancer is to accept the type of body we have. But then I believe that at some point you said, okay, but in order for me to get into this company that they request to be thin, and then at that point is when some girls or guys go, I'm not going to eat, I'm just going to throw up, and
Absolutely.
I just want to be skinny because they don't understand what is going on.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
I think one of the biggest problems that I've seen is no matter how much we can accept our own body type, the people higher up are not accepting how many people come in different shapes. And that is a big issue that I've seen. They all expect everyone to look exactly the same when we are not exactly the same. We are each our own person, our own body, our own way of looking. And so when they try to get that cookie cutter mold is when I see a lot of people resort to those things like drugs, not eating, forcing themselves to throw up. They resort to anything to be able to fit that mold. And that is, I think, one of the biggest issues that I've seen. Because if we were to just accept our own body and be the thinnest that we can possibly be in our own healthy way, I feel like maybe that could decrease the amount of eating disorders in the industry. If we just could accept our own body and that the directors could accept how everyone is different, that would, I think, benefit the mental health of the dancer extremely.
How are you dealing with the problem right now?
It's kind of a long story. Because of all of the diets that I had done in the last year, I ended up I did not have the correct nutrition in my body, and I ended up with an injury on my second metatarsal. And people may say it's all about what you eat, but while I was injured, all I ate was cauliflower rice and protein and just veggies and protein because I was scared of gaining weight. But that's exactly how I gained 20 pounds in just a span of 2 months. Of course, I wasn't able to do exercise because I had my boot on, and I was dealing with a depression at the time. But it is about what you eat. But at that time, I was eating everything that by the book would be correct. It's just all according to how your body reacts to it. So right now, my situation is a little bit hard for my own self to handle, because if I could have one wish, it would be to lose the weight that I needed to lose in a day, because then I could get back on track and put everything behind me. But of course, life is not that easy, and you have to put a lot of work into it. My main goal is to raise my metabolism and raise it up to the healthy rate that it needs to be. And I'm taking advantage of this quarantine that we're in, taking advantage of how we have 2 weeks to ourselves to really focus on my body and do the exercises that I need to do here at home, work on cardio, swim a little bit. Right now, my situation is basically things are going to get worse before they get better. And in order to heal my metabolism, in order to never have to worry about food, but to heal my toxic relationship with food that I have to take away, according to my nutritionist, I have to take away all the guidelines that I have and just focus on what I want to eat, but in a healthy way, and then start decreasing from there. It's going to be a very long process, but I think it's going to be the most healthy one that I've had in a while.
What if everything right now that you're doing doesn't work?
If that were the case, the very ugly case, which I don't think and I don't hope that is going to be.
Absolutely.
I think if that were the case, I would have to just accept that I should put all of my all my dedication onto a different path. Luckily, with our experience as dancers, we have a lot of different paths that we can take. And if this doesn't work, I think that I have to go into acceptance that this may not be the correct path for me. A professional career may not be what is planned for me. And I could go into teaching or look at other resorts where I can still work with my passion, but it does not require of myself depriving my health and my love for ballet.
What advice do you give other students, even little kids that may be going through the same?
One of the things would be to take your time, that you have time, because there is a lot of dancers that have taken long breaks, more than 4 years even, and they're now soloists at companies, successful again. And that is very inspirational to me, and I feel like it should be of inspiration and hope to the younger generation. Another one would be to believe in themselves and to not let anyone deteriorate their idea of themselves, to know that they are enough, that as long as they love themselves, they will be enough, and that people will learn to love them. And if they do not, then they are not worth your time. They are not worth your sacrifice. They are not worth your self-hatred. You do not deserve that for yourself, and they do not deserve that from you.
How important is for people around you to understand and help you?
I think that in part of recovery, that is one of the most important factors. In order to have a good supporting system at home or even with your friends, it is crucial. I think it is crucial because this type of recovery you cannot do alone, because you are your own worst enemy in this situation. And so if it's just yourself, you're never going to get better. You need people from outside, like you and Katya and my family have really helped me snap out of these dark thoughts, snap out of this toxicity in my head, and keep me going forward and not letting me give up, not letting me let everything go and just surrender.
Sabrina, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much, you know that, and my goodness, I hope to see you soon. Stay safe now with all this situation with the virus, and be back here soon. We're going to continue talking about this, okay?
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.